Hey VC, how's it going? Right, okay, a very quick video, a vinyl finds video, just stuff that I picked up over the last couple of months. Yeah, these last few weeks I've started picking up a few bits and bobs on Discogs, so yeah, I thought I'd show some of that. But yeah, this is what I'm listening to in the background. This is Bohannon with Dance Your Ass Off, 1976 on Dakar. I spoke a little bit about Bohannon in my recent disco video, just real good feel-good music, you know, so excellent. Right. Okay, start off with a couple of 45s actually. So yeah, so everybody will know the Average White Band tune Pick Up the Pieces, just a classic instrumental, you know, a great horn line with a funky rhythm section going on. Well, this is a track called Pick Up the Pieces One by One, credited to AABB. Now, famously, when James Brown heard Pick Up the Pieces, he loved it, but didn't believe that it was recorded by a bunch of white guys, particularly a bunch of white guys from Scotland, you know. So basically this is an answer version by the JBs, and AABB stands for the Above Average Black Band. It's cool, it's a nice tune. It's not as good as the original, of course, but yeah, really nice stuff. And at the same time as picking that up, I bought this. This is Slim and the Funky Four. That's the side I'm talking about. I've Got to Have Your Love on the Roxby Records label. Now I'll do a needle drop on this. This is quite interesting. So this is a bit of a funky version, bit of a funky take on Why Can't We Live Together by Timmy Thomas. So yeah, it's really nice, great bass line. So what do you think about that? That's really cool. Right then, albums. So first up, this is Claudia Linnea with her album Few from 1973 on Warner Brothers. Now I watched the documentary 20 Feet from Stardom recently, which, if you haven't seen it, it's a documentary about backing singers and their lives and careers. So it looks at artists such as Claudia Linnea, Darlene Love, Mary Clayton. Great film if you haven't seen it before, definitely worth watching. But yeah, so Claudia Linnea, she was an Ikette, so she sang with Ike and Tina Turner in the late 60s. There's a great performance actually on YouTube, I think shot at the Playboy Mansion. There's so much energy in the performance, definitely worth catching if you've got sort of 10-15 minutes. But she also sang backing vocals for Joe Cocker on his Mad Dogs and Englishmen tour. She sang with Leon Russell as part of the Shelter People for that tour. But probably most famously, Mick Jagger wrote Brown Sugar about her. David Bowie wrote Lady Grinning Soul about her. She was an absolutely stunning looking woman, great voice. It's just surprising really that she didn't have more success as an artist in her own right. This album is really good. The first side, I mean, it's like once again, it's a who's who of session musicians. Jim Keltner, Ry Cooder's on there on guitar, Arthur Adams on guitar. The second side is produced by Alan Toussaint, and it's full of all those, you know, those Memphis musicians from the time. You know, it feels like she was surrounding herself with the right people. The music is good, the songs are good. You know, you can't understand really why this album wasn't a hit. It's the sort of thing that would appeal to both fans of soul music and rock music. I'll probably do a needle drop on one of the heavier tunes actually, but really nice. Glad I picked it up. If you see it, definitely worth checking out. Right, okay, something that I picked up from a Discog seller a couple of weeks ago. This is Linda Jones with her album Hypnotised. Now this is just a classic soul record from the late 60s. I think it's about 1967. A mixture of deep soul ballads with a few upbeat numbers as well. She died very young. I think she must have been in her late 20s, early 30s when she passed away. I think it was to do with complications from diabetes. But she had a great voice. This is a really nice record. It's the sort of thing, you know, typical soul album, 30 minutes long. Every track's great though. Every track's a winner. Definitely worth checking out. This is a reissue on Soul Brother. I think it came out 3 or 4 years ago now. Only cost me a tenner. If you see it, definitely worth picking up again. Right, this is something I picked up towards the end of last year actually. This is Neneh Cherry and her debut album. I've been playing this a lot over the last few weeks. This has really taken me back to my sort of teenage years, you know. So big singles in here, obviously the likes of Buffalo Stance, Man Child, Inner City Mama. I've been after a copy of this for a little while, but whenever I see them, they're always a bit knackered. The covers are always grubby, but this is a really nice minty copy. I think it only cost me 5 or 6 quid, so yeah, really nice stuff. Right, another record which by an artist that I'd never heard of before. I was looking at some records on eBay a couple of months ago now, and this record popped up. I didn't recognise the cover, so I had a look on YouTube and sampled a couple of sound clips. And it's from 1979 on MCA. The artist, his name's Jeffrey. His name's actually Jeffrey Perry, so think about that. Jeffrey Perry, he'd worked previously with the likes of Invictus and Hot Wax Records as a songwriter and arranger, but I think this is his one solo LP. Came out, say, 1979. It's very much of that time. It's late 70s soul music, but every track is good. This is probably the album that I've listened to most this year. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. If that's your that's your taste, then definitely worth seeking out. I get the impression that this is an album that's been knocking around in the cheap bins for years, and the DJ has picked up on the last track in particular, Love's Gonna Last, and it's sort of made the record a little bit more expensive, but I'll do a little drop on that track. Yeah, great stuff. Right, my last video was a thread response to Richard McCook's record producer video, and I talked a little about Willie Mitchell and Al Green, and I've gone back to those albums over the last couple of days, and this is the album that I've been playing the most. This is perhaps one of the Al Green albums which I'd sort of overlooked. This is called Living For You. It's on High Records, 1973 I think it is. But the reason why I've been playing this, it has an absolutely beautiful version of Unchained Melody. Now, Unchained Melody, a song, you know, prior to listening to this again, it's a song that I could quite happily have never heard again. You know, it's just totally sick of it. But I'd totally forgotten about Al Green's version, and it is beautiful. Check it out on YouTube. I'm not doing a needle drop on it, but it's lovely. Again, it's that, you know, his vocal is beautiful, but it's that lazy, laid-back rhythm section, typical of High Records from that time. Yeah, great stuff. So definitely recommend that. And just quickly, a couple of CDs. I don't normally show CDs, but on the back of that, I've been listening to this Al Green album from 2008, I think it is. He made a bit of a comeback in the mid-2000s, making secular music again. This is the second of those albums, co-produced by Questlove. There is a great song on here called Take Your Time, which is a duet with Corinne Bailey Rae. Yeah, really nice stuff. And finally, it was Stevie Wonder's 70th birthday a week or two ago now. I've been listening to a lot of Stevie Wonder, cover versions. And in particular this album, this is his last studio album from 2010, I think it is. 2005 actually, God, 15 years old. Yeah, the first single off this album was a track called So What The Fuss. It's got Prince playing guitar, and you can tell it's Prince just from the style. Love it. So I've been going back to this quite a lot. Can you believe that? I think Stevie Wonder's only made 2 albums in about 25 years. Absolutely ridiculous, but yeah, definitely worth checking out if you don't know this one. So cheers, thanks.
one time.